Okay, my brother, I am here with you, and we had a little discussion conversation that was very amusing and comical.
Yeah,
and set the tone. I'm glad to be here, and I want to excuse my parents. I'm a very scruffy LanceScurv right now. I've been working in the house so much and didn't have a chance to freshen up. I always want to honor your presence when you get here, but we have a groundbreaking discovery that you want to speak about, and I'm looking forward to it. But before we do all that, thanks once again. This is one brick, one stone in the huge structure that you're building of your knowledge. Brick by brick, stone by stone, little by little, and that's how you do it. Too many people get on social media, they watch one video, and they're a scholar. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, they watch one, they're revolutionary, and they're a scholar. They don't even know how to string two sentences together. I'm not putting anybody down, but I would never even try to compare myself to your level in what you do. You see what I mean? And we're all specialists in something, but the engine can't do what the transmission does, right? The windshield wipers can't do what the exhaust system does. So we all have to honor each other, and I honor you and what you do because you are the best and you're consistent with it. Because when I look across the whole internet cyber stratosphere, there are some good people out there that do. Kudos to them. But the vast majority of us who just want to hear themselves talk and don't want to put in the work, like I said, there's other ways that I have to work in this house and get things together. But brick by brick, whatever you do, brick by brick, step by step, every day you have something to do to get yourself and ascend to that next level. And most people don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So I honor you in that because it's not an old school thing. It's the best school thing. You see, you can't retain knowledge that way. I mean, say, for example, you have a garden or a yard, a farm. Rain doesn't operate in a way where it's not going to rain all year, but the last day of the year is going to dump all that water down. It's still not going to help the plants. They're already dead. Right. You got to saturate. And that's what you do for us every Monday evening, and I thank you for it.
Well, thank you, Brother Lance, always for your kind words. I was just sitting back listening to it. Yeah, thanks for the information earlier. You never cease to amaze me, brother. But yeah, the thing is and again, I appreciate the kind words. But you know, I began to see, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of the conversations we have, particularly the analysis you use about the toolbox. And when I look at knowledge now, what we call knowledge, it's really, there are several types of knowledge, but we all have a type of knowledge that puts forth the best gift and purpose that we have, if that makes sense. Right. And so with that in mind, I know that whatever gift I have, then like everything else, it only becomes as good as the focus and the time and energy you put into it. And then you find out that there are people actively working against your energy, which is crazy. I don't even have the time to do enough of what I'm trying to do. I do not, like every morning, I get calls from people and they never say anything. Like, what? Why would I even, first of all, I don't like talking on the phone. Unless it's, you know, something, you know, that needs to be discussed or business or whatever. Right. But why in the world would I call someone at 7 o'clock in the morning and not say anything? What sense does that make?
All day long, unless there's somebody you're working with or something positive. I have people that in my life that we talk all day, like constructive, instructive things, because they're in the creative field, in the media. So all day it's a voicemail, but it's something that we're feeding, saturating. It's a purpose. It makes me better. You know what I mean? Like this last few days, my thumbnail game improved strategy-wise to be more eye-catching, different things. You know what I mean? So I'm always working on stuff. I'm not talking about those people, right? But you have people who they wake up, they start throwing stuff at you with different YouTube links, 3-hour video, 1 hour, 5 minutes apart now, 3 minutes apart. They done sent you 100 videos that added up to 2 weeks worth of viewing. So I'm going to sit down and say, I'm not going to do what I'm going to do. They threw this stuff at me. So I'm going to sit here chained and can't do what I do. Or back in the day when I do these long shows, which are unnecessary, because that's not the way it's done now. Folks want to call you 2 and 3 hours before the show, 2 or 3 hours after the show. Right?
Right.
And then when you time you go to bed, call you again. You want to go live again? And I was running myself down. I can't believe how much free time that I used to do something constructive and building a house. I took back that energy and I had all this time to enjoy it. I mean, right now I can do 5 shows a day if I wanted to have other things, and maybe I will do that, right? But I'm so full of youthful, abundant energy because I'm not being sucked down by the energy of multiple witches. I'm going to say it that way.
And it shows. It shows, man. You're looking really healthy and not. One of the things about living in America, you can always tell people when I know tourists from other countries because they don't have that stressed out look on their face. And like I always say, man.
Right now, I'm not even scrubbed and scruffy. I was doing work outside. I was doing work in here. I'm kind of sweaty and dirty, but like I said, we're gonna do the show. You know what I look like? This is your night tonight. But you're right about that. And I was speaking to somebody here about that. They said, you don't look like where you come from. They already know where I come from.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you're different because, like I said, I don't have the pressure. Oh, I have to wear this designer shirt and this. I have to put this jewelry on.
Right.
I throw on some Crocs, some shorts, and a T-shirt. I walk up to the town, the village. Everybody knows me. I hang out and talk with them. I mean, it's just like the same feel that I had back in the 70s growing up, where you had your neighborhood, you had your community. Hi, Mr. So-and-so. Hi, Mr. And you take time. I went up to the top. There's a guy who cuts hair. I'm not boosting up my own whatever, but he was there, and I said, hey man, because I picked up a plate or two of something that I like that's up there. I said, man, what you want to eat? Come over here. What you want to eat? He said, what you talking about? I said, I'm treating you to a little meal tonight, man. Get what you want to drink.
Wow.
Something, you know what I mean? Oh, brother, thank you, whatever. But he has a barbershop. He's responsible. He's a real solid dude. And he's done favors for me. Not like that, but in different levels. So I'm sharing the love, everything. The other day, a cab driver who's taking me down. There's a bunch of cab drivers that when they see me, they know me. I don't have to tell them where I'm going. It's the equivalent of $1.50 to get to my house from where it's close. You know what I mean? It might be 25 CDs, but it's really like $1.50, right? Okay. So come, brother, come. And then I go with them. Or I can call up there when I want and say, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I call a main guy, right? There's like 15 of them, but there's a main guy that designates, right? So he says, oh, I'm not doing anything. I said, listen, I need you to bring me something. They know where I live. I pay them the fare. I tell them what to get me, and they deliver it when I want. And now half the time, I don't even have to pay. Hey, brother, no, maybe next time, no. Like, what? Here's your money, man. Man, this is sweet.
Wow. Yeah, man, you can look at a person can look at you and see that you don't have the level of stress that we deal with here every day in this country, man. Because the other thing, and I'll get started quick, but I just wanted to chat with you for a minute and say hello to everyone under the sound of my voice. The thing is, Lance, is that's why I often say you have to be the captain of your own ship. Yes. Because if you're not, you get these, like you're saying, you get these calls, you get these emails, people sending you all this stuff. And like you said, it would take literally 2 weeks to go through all of that. So what that means is, okay, I appreciate you sending something or sharing something, but in many cases, it's not about that.
No, it's not about. It's not about.
No, it's about them forcing their will. Hey, pay attention to me. This is what I want you to do.
Yes. You're not going to do.
It's almost like a form of bullying, right?
No, it is. I definitely want to go deep on that because it's a spiritual thing. It's a thing where, especially when you're in your rhythm, like a fighter who's in his rhythm. Yeah. And he's focused, and it's almost not even like, oh, I have to think to throw a punch. You're there, and it's cosmic. You're just landing the right shots. You're in a certain rhythm, and they want to break that. These particular people want to do that. They sit off on the side. They're not doing anything with their lives. They're just trolling you, popping up in the chat room. Not all the chat room, but the certain ones that I'm going to make you see me wherever you go. And I'm going to call you every time I got 4 phone calls just now as soon as we hit that live button. 4. And what they want to do, they know I'm going live. They're not going to come on the show. They just, hey, man, what you doing? They want to break that rhythm. It irks that you're going where you have to go. And I've experienced that on so many levels, even in several years with people who I thought were in my inner circle. They wanted to destroy the platform for themselves and stealing your destiny or stopping you from getting there. And now I'm even stronger in it. I have nothing in my way. Folks don't even hardly see me unless it's here. So it's like, how are we going to get them? Like Muhammad Ali said.
Well, now they can send the mosquitoes with little drone cameras.
Well, in this studio, I got one window facing the back, and I got blinds and curtains over it. So they better be able to look through solid stone, right? There's a whole house is solid stone, cinder block and poured concrete. Stones, this ain't no plastic stuff on the wall. You know what I mean? So I'm good. I'm good. I don't have to leave the property. I can go on the balconies. I'm outside. I can go outside and be home.
Yeah.
I just put this shirt on for the show. I was walking around like Adam and Eve all day. Yeah, it's an energy thing, brother, and we have to protect it, and you have the right to protect it. And these people, these entities, it's a spiritual thing. They see your light. And I'll say one more thing before I shut up. You ever notice how when you go out in the dark in a backyard, for example, you have a floodlight, the floodlight is off. You walk out there, you can't really see, but there's no bugs really flying around you, right? As soon as you cut that floodlight on, all of a sudden, all of these bugs, all kind of big, ugly looking, scary things flying around, they're attracted to the light. Yeah, they're attracted to the light. When you cut the light off, they leave and go elsewhere to bug the other lights, wherever it may be. So people see your light. They feel your energy. They look at you and they say, man, I know this person is going someplace in life. Wherever it is they have to go. My goal is not to be famous. I go, but I do what I do and I love it and I'm happy doing it. Even setbacks in your channel, don't stop me. Yeah. Now I know the formula for myself. Now I know when you know it now, it takes a setback to really realize what you have and had and what you will have. Yeah. So I'm in a place now with so much momentum. And isn't it funny? The destinies that individuals try to rob from you and take for themselves, there's nothing but mayhem in their lives as you rise up. You see what I mean? Absolutely. Problems, divorces, being revealed. And then
it's like a boomerang.
Because
out at you and now it's coming back around.
Yes. And the secret is don't get angry. Don't seek revenge. Focus on yourself. Just be glad that the entities show their hand of what's inside of their heart, because they can never get you like that again. And now, as you begin to come up, you're stronger. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to try to take time to get revenge. That's for karma. That's for the Most High. That's for the Creator to do. Exactly. Better than I can do it. And then I'll be rewarded with a renewed spirit to realize my talents, abilities, and how much better I am now than I was last year or 5 years ago. Yes. But I'll shut up. Go ahead, brother. Come on, talk to us.
Yes. Well, the thing is too, Lance, is when we're walking in our purpose, we're always going to have those that have bad intentions, and they're always coming smiling. And that's not just, that's across the board, I've found. But if you want to put your banner up there, beautiful banner, man, and this banner actually, it says it all.
Okay, let me do it.
The Y chromosome. And Yes, groundbreaking discovery. This was so, I mean, this is something that I don't even know the words to describe it. I'm just going to give the information and what I've discovered, because we know how this is something that our real scholars have always known. And I have to give credit to Dr. Delbert Blair and the bloodline of the gods, because he was saying this just like with you when you were saying things decades ago, when our people like Delbert Blair, Dr. Richard King, when he talked about the black dot, and a lot of other of our scholars who talked about this, what's his name? Kaba Kamene, Dr. Kama Kabade.
Yes.
They have always told us about this, but again, we don't want to look at who we are because we are reading the narratives of other people. But I must say, this blew me away. I've always known it myself, and we've called these people not crazy, but okay, well, we're not accepting that because that doesn't make sense to us, and it destroys our narratives about you. And the same thing when I look at some of the things that you said, Lance, over the decades, that are and a lot of other people who have that gift that you have, that these things have always been there. It's just like now we're in a position to receive it. But you know, when I first ran across this information, like everything, I don't immediately react to it without finding out the source of this information. And boy, let me tell you, when I went to the American Journal of Human Genetics, and then I discovered what was being put out by this individual, I was like, wow, this is true. Because there's no way they're going to, and this is part of the 13-year human genome project that they did. And then National Geographic put out the same, information, kind of co-signing it. And I was like, okay, so now I want to deep dive into this, and I really want to see what this is actually saying. If this is actually saying what we all know the truth about. And yes, that's what it's saying. As amazing as this is, and see, this is one of the reasons why they always jump ahead of us with these, what do they call them? Alien ancestors or whatever. These so-called scientists that they have on the History Channel and other places that already know this information I'm going to give to you today. So they jump ahead and they switch the narrative. So our people will be looking at what they say as opposed to what our scholars have taught us. And so, this is fascinating, brother.
Yes,
Imagine this. Imagine this.
Say it again?
Huh?
The last thing you said, say it again.
Oh, I said, this is so fascinating and groundbreaking that imagine this. One black man living here in America or in Mali or in Cameroon or in Mexico or wherever they may be here in the United States have more genetic diversity than all of the people living in Western Europe. Not only that, I was surprised when they put this in the AGHG, I was like, oh yeah, it's time to go with this now.
Yes.
And I went back. Huh? Go ahead, brother.
I was just going to say, that's why, the pyramid didn't have anything to do with it, but symbolically, I wanted that as a historic, like in the past, like we're connected to that. And we go back ancient. And on the thumbnail, I didn't put the whole title because sometimes people will breeze past it if they see too many words, but when they see the title, it brings them in. So to evoke curiosity, I said groundbreaking discovery. And then I put
Yes.
Y right there. Like, so it's in your face. And I put his
Yes.
face close up. Black
Man,
man.
like I always say, your concepts are powerful because we know a picture is worth 1,000 words. So when you come, I was so anxious this morning. I was wanted to see the banner because I knew it was going to be right on time, right? and I was like, okay, the banner itself will explain, because a lot of times when you see people, when they put their thumbnails up or what have it, they're doing it for mainly clickbait, right?
Right.
Or to fool people, where you're thinking, okay, this is something I'm interested in, but yet the article or whoever's giving the information doesn't say anything about the subject, right?
Right. Right.
So you're like, okay, this is disappointing. I thought I'd get something from this. But yeah, so before there was any human species on the planet, that's the point I wanted to make, that's so groundbreaking. Before there is any human memory or genetic memory bank, before there was anyone on the planet, there were black, this Y chromosome existed in black people. So now this actually lets us know and confirms that they're not like us. They're not. They did not come from us. Okay.
That's right.
We exist as a separate species. And so when and I'm gonna go into this in a minute, but when you look at the fact that there are no human branches known to man, no genetic material on this planet that can be linked to this. Think how powerful that is. Dang. Now, this is how they found this out, brother. If you want to put, oh, this is what I want to say too when I go into this. Before you put Dr. Delbert Blair's visual up there. So this ancient Y chromosome that they discovered in a black man in America, his name is Albert Perry. Okay. Now, this was done way back in 2012. So they had to find out how they were going to tweak it and spin it before they actually put it out. Okay. Now, there are several fascinating things about this. Number one is the DNA of Mr. Albert Perry, a black man in South Carolina, predates all known human species.
Oh.
And see, this is why when I was saying how the History Channel knew this way back in 2013 when they finished it. Yeah, they knew this way back then. But what they did was 15 years ago. So, but what they did was they took this information and they kind of hid it away. They put it in little junk because they know, let's be honest, the majority of our people don't read the American Journal of Human Genetics. They just take the narrative that, is put out and then they run with that. But the thing that's so fascinating about this, brother, is that this is why I was telling you they use these, what do they call them? Ancient, maybe someone in the chat room knows, ancient scientists, whatever they call them on the History Channel. They have taken this lie about some aliens from somewhere that have came here and built. No, now we know. Now you can put this picture up of Dr. Delbert Blair with the bloodline. Yeah. When I first heard this, when I first came across Dr. Delbert Blair, thank you. When back in the early 90s, people were saying he was off the cuff, a lot of the stuff he was saying. Now, even though this man was a scientist in his own right and a historian, and they were saying how, he's even some of our people, you know how they do, right? They don't have to put it forth themselves. They get someone in our own community to debunk our own people, right? Without
Yep.
doing any, like you said, like to say, without doing any real research, without, you know, finding out the truth about anything. They just run with the narratives and regurgitate what
Yeah.
they're told. Okay, so this guy, again, every time I read this, it's just unimaginable, because the DNA of this one black man in South Carolina predates all known human species. That's us. So what happened was, the scientists and geneticists who were a part of this human genome study was so astonished around the world. At first, they was trying to say, okay, this is not even, they didn't even know if it was human DNA, if it can be considered human DNA or alien DNA. They didn't know how to classify it. So then I started saying, okay. I went back and I studied Dr. Blair, his work, Dr. Richard King, right? Dr. Finch, all these guys that were, you know, excommunicated.
You know, I interviewed him, right?
How you interviewed Dr. French, right?
Finch, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of those interviews a couple years ago you did with him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, but like they do with our people all of the time, okay, like they do with you in other areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
What they do is they say, okay, he's crazy, or he's saying something that he has not verified. A lot of times when we get information from the creatrix, we don't have to verify it. It's in our spirit already through the divine law.
It comes to you.
Huh?
It comes to you.
Yes, you get that inspiration or that revelation or that gift that we got from our mothers, the gift of discernment. That's what they call it, right? Or intuition. But you can see I'm still excited, and I got.
Oh, I'm very excited.
Huh?
About all of this, life in general.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Because you see, just to add on, I follow the voice all day now. That download, that guidance, I follow it all day. So people think I'm crazy, call me crazy. But I have the things that I want to do, but I submit to that voice. I check in.
That's right.
I don't say, hey, voice, what do I have to do? And it talks to me like that with a voice. It's something on the inside that if I just stay still enough and back up and let it come to me, it will, and it does.
Bingo. It does.
So exciting because I'm away from the noise of confused people, the noise of all of these agendas pushed on you and distractions thrown on you. I'm away from that. And that angers these people who feed off of stealing your energy or the thrill of distracting you from yours. I don't get a thrill from distracting anybody from anything because I'm too busy on my path. You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So every day is heaven. Look, and I'll shut up after this. I'm going to say it like this, y'all. I may get up in the middle of the night to go pee and get inspiration. Exactly. Rub my eyes, walk into the computer to write something, to say something, and go to bed and wake up and say, where'd that come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know something with that? Just think about what you just said. Like a lot of times we might think it's because of the body. Well, it is the bodily function, but
right. But it's more than that.
Yes, more than that. It's the power that, you know, we are led by, this force that you're talking about, that causes this to happen because they have something to say to you, to show you. So if they have to wake you up for you to go to the bathroom for that to happen, then guess what?
Right.
They don't do that. I think the name of these people they have on the History Channel, I think they call them ancient alien theorists or something like that. And the reason why they have to use that word theorist is because they are creating a theory.
Right.
This is not something that they know as a fact. So any one of us can create an ideology or a theory. Okay. But this is not a theory. And the reason why I have Dr. Blair there, I just want to give kudos to him. When people were talking about him being, you know, over the edge and all of this, he told us about this species of Black people, and he even did a video called Return of the Gods. He told us about this species of people, of Black people that exists outside any known human branch. Okay, and this man said this over 30 years ago. So now these people that we always want to look at as being the smartest or whatever, they didn't have a choice now. But they've always known this. Who was the other? Dr. Leola Africa.
Right.
Was one of the first ones to say, look, they're not like us. And he did a breakdown on all of the different elements in our bodies that are different, that function different from them. And he was saying that, okay, you know, something is wrong here because they are not like we, even when you get to the blood. And the blood is the one that tells the truth.
Yeah, blood doesn't lie.
The blood doesn't lie. So with that, we're going to talk about this guy from South Carolina. What can only be considered a bloodline of the gods, an ancient DNA, this Y chromosome that exists in African American men, was discovered in his blood. And it turned out that this bloodline, which they didn't have any classification for it, it was a new classification. They called it A00, and that it is older than any known haplogroup in the human genome sequence. In fact, it is not a branch of any human group currently known.
What?
And it is a completely separate strain which predates any known human branch, and it is the primordial root of everything. Now let that sink in for a minute. We're talking.
So it's appropriate when this guy came out with the song, "They're Not Like Us." They're not like us.
Yes. Very, very appropriate. I don't know if he knew this.
I know, right?
Maybe, but like you were saying before, and we were just discussing, when the creatrix want to bring this through you, this inspiration, you may not even be aware of it.
Right.
So you're just the conduit that this electromagnetic energy is coming through. And so we know we're in an electromagnetic warfare with these people because they know this power already. They know this, brother.
Yes.
Trust and believe. They've been in these labs for studying us for over 100 years. But so a haplogroup is a genetic classification that represents a population's ancestral groupings and the major branch points on the mitochondrial spectrum, right, on the tree. And the haplogroups are defined by inherent genetic markers or mutations passed down from a common ancestor. And they can be traced through the mitochondrial or the female DNA or maternal or the haplogroups. And they also can be traced through the Y chromosome for paternal haplogroups. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if he was aware. And again, a lot of times when the creatrix wants to bring the laws of Mayat and the other divine laws through us, then it is used in a way that sometimes, old people used to say, well, God works in mysterious ways. See, but because we've been taught to interpret things based on an theology and ideology, we don't look at the spiritual aspect of Africa or Turtle Island first. We look to what they have written, mainly it's through the scripts, and it's okay. You can use that. That's fine. It's the way that you are interpreting it. So now this changes everything. So now we know before any religion, before any human concepts, this species of black men exists outside. You remember when I told you I learned from Dr. Richard King that melanin operates outside the normal synapses of the brain?
Yeah.
This is why. Because this spiritual or etheric energy that we're talking about right now with the Y-chromosome and this species of black men, wherever they are all over the world, one black man, you, have more genetic variation, meaning there are more people that came from your loins.
Wow.
Or the possibility to come from your loins than all of the people in Western Europe. So I ain't even got, and this is not Neil Frazier, okay? This is the American Journal of Human Genetics, our foremost genetic scientists that put their work into or submit their work into, and the Human Genome Project is global. This is why these Chinese, remember I told you, this is a couple of years ago, and you and I had this conversation about this Chinese scientist, when he found out that they came from black people, they silenced him because he was part of the genetic genome project as well.
Right.
Now let's talk about where, okay, brother, you can remove that. Okay. There's one more picture. I'm trying to remember which one it was, because at the time that it was shown to me, if you put up another picture, I'll know. Yes. Okay, perfect, man. You're right.
We're synchronized, brother.
I know, right? Now, you see those species right there? They're the ones that are speaking through. We call them our ancestors, whatever you, but where do you see them around? Trees.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Let me just say this one thing, brother. You know the time when the van took me all those miles, 15 miles away from my house, down into the dark road where there was nothing? 15 miles.
I remember
and above the clouds, not fog. We couldn't see the sky. It was the darkest of dark.
Yes.
And I had to walk up through the dark around midnight with there was no signal, right, at the time. No signal, and I had one bar on my phone. And I had to carry these 2 grocery bags and walk all these miles, going incline, decline, up in the mountains, in the clouds. And I'm not going to lie. At first, it was an overwhelming sense of the unknown and fear. Not coward, oh, I'm scared, fear, but like, oh my God, I wasn't even thinking about somebody doing anything to me, because I can do things back, right?
Right, right.
I was overwhelmed by the sense of presence that was beyond an individual. I'm telling you. And then as I got on this one mountain, because we're 50 miles away, and there's a mountain range up here, we're up in the sky. I got on one peak. It wasn't a peak. I was on a road, winding road, up and down, side by side. And the clouds got thinner, even though I couldn't see the stars in the sky. It wasn't raining, it was just misty. And there were clouds to both sides of the road. But as the road turned, there was some trees, kind of in front of me. It was like this, what we see.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I know that those trees had a presence and intelligence about them. Call me crazy. And I'm looking at these trees, and for a second, it was like a little boy. I was like a little boy, and I was like a little scared, like, oh my God. These are living beings, and they have a presence.
Yes.
And I learned something. I couldn't explain it. And then after a while, I felt protected by them as I walked up this road in a sense of calm. But the immense, overwhelming feeling on a spiritual level at first, I'm way out. I'm in Africa, y'all. Where I am is the country. This ain't the city, and I was deeper in it. All kind of animals and noises I never heard before, not even near my house. And my house is out here. And the presence of the trees. At first, I was afraid to look. It was just dark fog, and you could see the trees just not clear and pretty, but
yeah, I'm getting a picture in my mind.
Yeah. And so I couldn't even see in front of me, but sometimes I would get a glimpse. But this picture here kind of grabbed me because it's the same thing. Because you see these trees in this banner, and they're living. They have a presence, and you see the forms around
notice, it. That's why I like to go around trees, water, because our ancestors and what we're talking about today live beyond this physical boundary that we have been taught. So whenever you go near, this is so deep, brother. Yes, they want to build buildings and houses, but they have other ulterior motives for cutting down trees, bro.
Yeah.
They have, when they come into our communities, the first thing they want to do is cut down the trees. No, we can find another spot to do that. Because they know that our ancestors, like you see right here, and we walk by them every day, and if you just take 5 minutes to stand by a tree, you'll be amazed at things that come to you that you didn't even think about for years. I do it all the time. And see, this is why it's so important for us to stay or go back to nature, because this is where our real power is. Right here.
Right.
Yes, sir. So let's continue to deep dive a little bit, brother. So now, when we talk about the species that we're talking about that we know is not connected to any human branch, but this is in the bloodline of Black men.
Right.
Okay. They have found this in places on earth in the blood of Black people. Of course, with Mr. Perry in South Carolina. They found it with men in Georgia, with men in Mexico, Black men, in Cameroon, in Mali, in Ghana, Jamaica. So wherever you go and you start testing these Black men, now you're finding that they carry this Y-chromosome, and I call it the creator chromosome. See, this is that 963 hertz. This is why they have CERN slamming protons or electrons, whatever they're doing, into each other at a high rate of speed to try to crack open something that already exists in you. You see what I'm saying? They are trying to find out, because they already know who the real gods and goddesses are. Okay, so now this proves that Black people are the first living people in every continent, every place in America. This wipes out all, and I go back to thinking about when Graham Hancock, this white archaeologist that they made leave the country, because he was one of the first ones to say, well, Black people, the Olmecs, have been in the Americas longer than anybody, 100,000 years. Okay, so they got angry at him, and he even did videos about this. And that's why I say they always know things that we don't know, because they hide the truth from us. So we know from the Washita Nation in the Mississippi Valley, they are direct descendants of the Olmecs. which is the oldest known civilizations in the Americas, in Mexico, in La Venta, and Poverty Point in Louisiana, which was built by Black indigenous tribes over 3,400 years ago. I mean, it's now that the cat is out of the bag, there's nothing they can do. I mean, and now I was talking about Dr. Richard King with the black dot. Okay, and the fact that melanin operates outside the normal synapses of the brain. And so when you start looking at the totality, okay, brother, there's another picture. And each one of these pictures tell a story. I spent 2 days finding it, yes. Now, they can talk about ancient aliens all they want, okay? You can call our ancestors aliens, but you see them folks up there? Okay, this is why we have to pay attention to divine laws and stop letting, yes, the scripts are important, okay, but that's only the terrestrial aspect of that knowledge. The celestial aspect up in the what you call the heavens is still alive today. That's why the divine law of correspondence is so important. As above, so below, as within, so without. And you can clearly see this species of people above humans. Okay, you can clearly see this. Okay, and I went through about maybe 30 pictures, maybe a little more than that, to get the right concept. And that's so important. And that's why, brother, I know we're synced, man, at a level that other people don't understand. Because when you do those concepts, okay, they are actually like when they say you write a book, the cover is everything, right? So if that cover does not represent the information that's in the book, then it's not going to click as much as when you have that connection. And we can clearly see right here. Now, I'm going to say a few things also about the subject what we're talking about that'll connect us, okay, to what we're looking at right now. Okay, so this previously unknown genetic group, this black Y chromosome, and the reason why we know also, thank you, creatrix, is that we are carbon beings, okay? And what color is carbon? It's black. Okay, so this is why they took everything about you and demonize it. So you got everybody in the world talking about 666 is the seal or symbol of the Antichrist. Really? Maybe you're Antichrist. But our Creator created us with 6 electrons, 6 protons, and 6 neutrons. That is what we are, carbonated beings. So these lies now are being blown out of the water by this project. So again, I want to read this. This previously unknown genetic group of black Y chromosome males, that species that exist outside of any known human. That's why, again, I'm sorry, this is not Neil Frazier. This they didn't come from us, man. They're not like us, okay? So people get mad all they want. This is true. We're actually, black males are actually the origins of life, the root and genetic, well, no, there is no genetic memory bank for people that are not a part of this haplogroup. That is a fact, okay? And before any books were written, any videos or any maps were drawn, our ancestors that you're looking at, they were here on every continent, okay, on the planet. And this is now indisputable. This cannot be disputed. All right, brother, we can go to the next picture. Perfect. Yes. I didn't even put them in any particular. Yes. Now, This is okay. So this is why they have people forging this lie that aliens, rather than our ancestors, built the pyramids, and they know that the black gods built everything and goddess that predates them and their lives. So now look at the Queen Mother right here. Look at all the pyramids around her.
Yep.
So you're gonna tell us that some aliens built the pyramid? No, they did not. This was a part of our genetic memory bank, not yours, because we already know that before you were in existence, that this species of our people existed. We know this now. We used to have to tiptoe around this a little bit. That's why I'm so happy like a child in a candy store. I ain't got to tiptoe around this. I've been knowing this for over 30 years. But I don't like to speak about things until I get the truth. You see what I'm saying? Or what's more truth than anything else. So as we were saying earlier, and we're going to leave the Queen Mother up there because we see that everything is subject to the creatrix power when we're talking about bringing information into the world that the creator has already created. Okay. So we know that truth is in the blood and it is the origins of life, and that we black men, the Y chromosome, this species that's outside any known human species, we carry the fingerprints of humanity. And that I'm going to use it's so funny because one of the scientists that worked on this project actually made this statement. So, you know, they study our scholars like Dr. Blair. They know, because they know they don't have this same connection. But Dr. Blair told us way back when that our DNA is from the stars. So guess what he said? He said, well, whatever it is from the stars. In other words, it didn't originate here on the planet. Okay, so you take that any kind of way you want. I'm not sure how, you know, people are going to take that. But black American men and African men carry ancient bloodlines. Okay, and in this genome project, it was hidden so that it didn't have to be in the school books and a part of world history. They also found it in West Africa, Central Africa, and East Africa, and all connect to black Americans genetically. Now this crap they got you talking about, some, yes, we are FBAs, okay, but we're also Africans, okay? Now y'all need to stop this stuff with these white supremacists have taught you to separate. We are one. The species, the same species I'm talking about, is found in our African brothers, and they're found in black men here in this country and in Mexico. So these Latino people who want to stay connected to these white folks have to know that most of your ancestors are connected to this as well, because they're black. Yeah, I said, right. I never could say that before because I didn't have definitive proof. Now I have definitive proof. You ain't gonna be able to shut me up, because now I can talk about all the stuff that I've studied over the decades that you always had, you know, in the back of your mind. Okay, like with the metaphysical aspect, some of our brothers and sisters have this gift, right? So now we know a lot of the things that are inspired to them come from this source. That I don't want to say average men, because unlike them, I don't have to put other people down to be elevated. But the Creator has elevated us. With this species now we know that exists. So you can talk about all the alien, what do they call it? Ancient alien theorists you want to. They're lying. Okay. I talked about Graham Hancock, how the white scientists turn on him. But the most genetically diverse DNA ever found is in African Americans, according to a groundbreaking study from Harvard University. Okay, so I guess now you can accept it. And that African Americans possess more genetic diversity. Well, I said this earlier. Now, Harvard University is saying, and this isn't in their study, not Neil Frazier, than whole populations in Europe. Now, you marinate on that. That is your greatest institution. And I found a study from your other greatest institution, Yale. They said that this 338,000 year-old DNA found in Black Americans predates any known European species at least 100,000 years. Now you go. So all this crap you telling our people in these scripts and all of this, you're lying. Okay, we know you're lying because we have the proof now. And it's not about that, brother. I'm not one of these people that try to beat somebody down.
Right.
But now look what you have done to our people. Look how you have, you know what I'm saying? I want to give one other study that was done by, it's called Nature Study, which is one of the foremost researchers that they use in the AGHG. They found, wow, a population, they said that the more diverse a population, such as African Americans and African males, the older it is. And they found in this project, 80% of African American men possess more genetic diversity, and it's not even found in any genetic sequence on Earth. So for all the white males and all these other people that think they're above us and have always shot us down, and you trying to close the Black Museum, you're not even like us. You're not even one of us. So now I'm very, it don't matter to me what they say no more. Now people going in here doing all this, keep doing that. Okay? Because now I'm learning new concepts that's coming at me. They try to use this concept, talking about the 144,000 that's sealed. But what they don't tell you is this is part of what they have always known about. There's a certain chosen species amongst Black people that are chosen to bring us the truth. This is what they try to claim with this theory that they use called 144,000 that are sealed, that's in the scripts. And so again, all I'm saying to you is that's not necessarily false. What's false is the narrative that you've been given about it. Okay. Okay, brother, you can go to the next picture. I have a couple more things I'm going to go down. Thank you, man. You was doing, that Yale study was powerful, and the Harvard study, because, our people are not going to take what we say as face values, even someone like Dr. Blair and Dr. Richard King, who is a psychiatrist, by the way, that studies different issues concerning melanin, the black dot, and Dr. French as well, the one you
Charles Finch.
Yeah, Charles Finch, so let's kind of wind this down. If you got one more picture, I think it was another picture that I sent you that,
let me see.
had some significance to it. Oh yeah. Now when they went back and they was like, okay, we need to get some type of clarity about some things. What they found in all civilizations all over the planet, that all the gods were Black. Okay, all of them, wherever they went. But there was another picture though, Lance, that I wanted to expound on.
Okay, let me
Yeah, I forgot I sent you that one. I think it was one
Yeah,
more.
that,
Yeah,
I might
thank
not
you,
have
man.
downloaded you.
I know
Let
you
me
got
check.
a lot going on, but thank you, man, because these pictures are so very, very important to what we're talking about today. But the genetic marker, a study was also showed that a single, and I keep saying this because that's what the studies that they have done with this project is revealing, that a single African-American man carries more genetic variation in his Y chromosome than all of the people, oh yeah, I said this earlier, in Western Europe. That, see, this is why when you get one or two of us together, why they get so, because they know this power is so great. They feel it. They have to feel it. Now, this explains why they always say, well, I fear for my life, even though we know they're lying. At some level, because now, man, my head was spinning now with all the stuff, the possibilities.
Right.
You go
It
back
changes
and you
everything.
look at what's her name that did the Willie Lynch doctor, the psychiatrist. What's her name? Oh man, why am I drawing a blank with her? Dr. Frances Cress Wilson.
Yes.
Now you have to go back and re-examine her work in light of this information.
Right.
Because now a lot of things she was saying at that time, she couldn't just come out and say it straight out because they would have shut her down. But her theories taught us that what she was saying was true. Okay, so now we know that the Y chromosome, the primordial seed within the bloodline of all living Black males on this planet, we are the source of all human life on the planet. And see, this explains why they stole our metaphysical existence, right? And I'm going to use one. Okay, brother, you can take that down. Thank you, man. I'm going to use one of our foremost chemists and scientists and agronomists, Dr. George Washington Carver, who I would see. We got to go back and examine all the work that our brothers, because what Dr. George Washington Carver used to do is he used to go out before the sun came up in the morning and talk to the plants.
Right.
And so the plants would communicate. He would tell them which chemical form, they would give him chemical formulas and everything. And people used to think he was crazy at first until he saved the soil in the South. And then they and the things he did at Tuskegee. And this man didn't care about, when they showed the little lab room he lived in most of his life, we're talking about one of the greatest chemists and scientists that have lived arguably over the last, I'm so excited, man, I'm starting the last 10,000 years. The last 10,000 years, because now when you go back and look at Dr. George Washington Carver, the ancestors, the ones we saw in that picture with the spirits in the trees, they were the ones that was giving him this information every morning. So you see, brother, now we know why the mass incarceration of our men is why they fear us so much. And this all makes sense now. But the one thing, I'm going to be careful with what I say because I know how they do.
Well, you good.
Channel. But this is something too that now we have to look at in another light. If our bloodline, talking about Black males on the planet, the Y chromosome they just discovered, predates any known human existence or memory, then we are gods. It's just that simple. Right. We are gods, okay? And I'll dispute anybody on this because we ain't talking about no damn aliens. We talking about black men. They found this in black men in America, in Africa, in the Caribbean, in Mexico. We're talking about, Willis. What you gonna say now? There is nothing that can be said. There is no, this cannot even be debunked, brother. It's in our blood. Now this explains something else too. Okay, so you know how when they unalive a lot of our people because of organ harvesting, but no, now they want the blood. This is why the vampires need the blood. Now this makes sense.
Yeah.
This is why they need our blood. Because this is, oh man, this is just too much, brother.
The mind blower.
It's just too much because it just changes the whole trajectory of everything now.
Yeah.
These people are not literally, they didn't come from us. They're not like us. Okay. And at some level, their scientists always knew this. So they have lied to us for over 100 years. And so now I see, so now this, thank you, Creatrix. And Dr. Kojo used to, yes, Dr. Kojo used to teach us this, but he did it more from a spiritual perspective, the separation. Now this makes sense why this script says, come out from amongst them. See, all of this stuff makes sense now when truth comes.
False
Know the
advantage.
truth and the truth shall set you free. Now all of this stuff makes sense. Because now we see that all of this was meant because of who we are. That's where this knowledge came from. And so it's just wow, it's just overwhelming in the sense that now we can plot a new course. Now this is what I was going to say, that now this makes sense why they're making the moves that they're making.
Yes.
Because now if this explosive information get in the school books, which it never will, it has to come through us.
Right.
Okay, that's why,
Independently.
Independently. And this is why we have to have independent institutions, independent media like yours. You remember, what was it, Like It Is?
Yeah.
Tony
Brown's Journal.
Yeah, you know.
McCreary Report, Black News. That was right there, man. I was a little boy. Right there.
Yes, yes. See, and that was, during that time, they knew something. Oh, I know what it was. See how the Creatrix teaches us. Okay, it's that picture with the Pope kneeling down in front of the real Black Madonna. That is what it is. That's the picture, Lance, if you still have it. And this picture, so when the Pope
Let me go back.
died,
While you talk, I'm going to look for it again. Let me see.
Okay, so when the Pope died, this was also a transitional situation in terms of, now I wouldn't be surprised if the next Pope is Black.
Well, you know, just like breaking news, I'm not sure if they chose it or not, because I have to look into it, because I have promised to do a Pope show. Okay. But the research, I'm not gonna lie, was straight boring. But now, I don't think it got around as of yet, because it just got out. It was sent to me. But I'm not sure if he's going to be the Pope or potential Pope. But homeboy sat up and said some things. And what he said, he spoke about America and the UK causing division and chaos all over the world.
Who said that?
He just said in the speech.
Who?
This potential Black Pope. Let me see if I can find this
really?
video. Yeah. It just came to me 5 minutes before you clicked in. It just came to me.
Okay.
You know, and okay, let me see here.
So, yes, brother. This is
And I listened to it.
transition. Huh?
And I listened to it, and it was off the chain. Okay, wait. Let me see if
Wow.
I can. Let me see if I
Okay.
can actually share it now. Hold on.
Great.
Let's see if it's okay to play the clip.
That would be wonderful.
Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, we can play a piece of it. Let me just.
Okay.
You all hear the audio on this particular video. I think it's a 219 where he made the speech. Okay, let me just put this in the share screen.
Okay.
And yeah, hold on one second. This is a whole separate show with this one. Okay, present. Share screen.
So I better charge up my iPad here.
Here, let me put this here. Okay, let me see how it looks. Okay, I gotta make this a little bigger. I want you to hear this.
Okay, yeah, I want to hear this.
Okay, let me make it a little bigger.
Okay.
Even though you can see it.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if there's a black pope now, because they know this transition is taking place.
Right. Let me see how this looks.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, we'll leave it like this, but
okay.
I want to make sure. All right, now we're gonna play this.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna play it right now. I'm gonna play it right now.
Okay.
Okay, let me see. I want to make sure it comes out all right.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. Listen up, y'all. Here we go.
A noble reason of forcibly installing democracy everywhere and bringing peace and freedom. Europe and the United States have created chaos in many countries, especially in the Middle East and Africa.
Wow. The US and Europe with the goal of a
Okay, I don't know how much of this I can play, but they said we can play a clip. Let me just scroll up and see if he's going to say some more.
This is national news, right?
Judgment may seem inaccurate or exaggerated, but we cannot deny today's reality. Look at Iraq, Libya, Syria, Afghanistan. Europe has been experiencing an unprecedented civilizational crisis for more than a century. This crisis is therefore not recent, but it continues to deepen, worsen, and demolish any reference to God.
The smiling.
The only human means. The only political or diplomatic negotiations are powerless to achieve unity, to establish peace among men. I improved my relationship with God, and God improved and pacified the relationships among men and nations. Today, Western powers are promoting false rights, distorted rights, to give everyone and all citizens of the world unfettered access and the power to self-determine regardless of their sexual identity. They want to change the culture to establish a sexually
did you hear that?
Society.
Yeah, I heard that.
They claim to liberate humanity, so to speak, not only from God who created it, but also from man and woman, to free it from the father, the mother, the spouse, marriage, and the family.
You're talking about being bold? Fellas, this is a
Let's move it up. Like I said, I don't know how much. I'm going to put it to the part where he was talking. I'm going to do this one last segment, and I'm going to drop the link in the chat.
So he's being considered as a pope?
Yeah. I believe he's a candidate to be that. Yeah. So will this stop him from becoming that? You know what I mean? He's telling it.
Yeah.
A new global culture will emerge, celebrating in the name of the absolutized freedom of the individual, choices leading to the death of man and woman and the destruction of our humanity. These new rights from civil are at two extremes.
Wow.
The right to die and the right not to be born. Between the two are the rights to abortion,
Okay.
the right to genetic manipulation, the right to a child reduced to being merely a thing or an
Okay.
object. But there is also the right to insult and to desecrate religions.
Well, I know that your time is pressed, brother. So I just want to play that.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop the link right now of this video into the chat room.
Okay.
And that way everybody can, get down with it. Because I like to give credit where credit's due. I never want to hide anything back. I don't do
Absolutely.
that. But
That's great.
I might do a segment on that myself and play
You
like
should.
the original.
You should.
And I have a lot to say about that. Yeah, but I'm so appreciative, man. All of this is coming out. And
it is.
It's so much.
Kudos to him for having the courage to speak the truth, because everything he said is true.
Right.
And
that's right.
The world, they know now. Again, what people have to realize is they do not look at religion the same way you do. They are subject to principalities and powers. I wish you could find that picture, Lance, with the Pope.
Let me go on again.
Yeah, because I want to make a point about this that'll tie things into what we're saying. Is that they have always had this knowledge. If you could get into the basement of the Vatican, you know that they have this knowledge.
Oh yeah.
They know that the energy force that's coming against them is going to take a melanated man in order to deal with this. See, they know this already. They don't know. I mean, so at the end of the day, I would not be surprised if that man that you just played become the next pope. I would not be surprised. Right. The other point I was making was that this is the reason why they are they dismantle the Department of Education. Because a lot of times we think everything doesn't have to do with money with them. They just use that as an excuse.
Right.
What we talked about today, the United States government knows this. They know that this information is out there now. The thing that they count on is, well, how many black folks actually read what's in the AJHG. So if we can keep this from, being printed or anything like that, then chances are less than probably 2% of them is going to read anything from the American Journal on Human Genetics. I'm just talking about how they think.
Question, brother. Question. I don't see it in that particular email, but I can find it. No, I can find it real quick. Tell me what it is again.
Okay, so it's the Pope kneeling down in front of the picture of the Black Madonna and Child. Okay,
yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna search it right now.
It has a caption on it that's very critical to what we're talking about, because they do know something that we don't know.
Oh yeah.
Okay. They know what we have been discussing today. They've always known this. I'm just shocked that this information has been released. Well, one of the things they wasn't planning on when they announced this Human Genome Project, they felt like, okay, whatever it is, if it exposes something about Black people that we don't want to be known, then we can always put spin on it. What they wasn't counting on is finding out that we are a whole separate species. And that was way too much for them, to hold back. Okay.
Brother, I found several of them. The ones I found may not be the exact one.
I sent you. Okay, well, you could just.
I don't see it, but I'm gonna pull it up right now for you.
Okay, Just
Let me
put,
just do
you
that.
can put anyone up. It's fine.
Right,
But
right.
you know, again, the picture itself will make a statement about what we're discussing today, because
Yes,
here
yes.
you have the most powerful religious figure in the world. Now, if he was like what these white supremacists say and how they talk about us,
Mm-hmm.
do you think he would be kneeling down before a picture of a black Madonna child that the whole damn world is going to see? I don't think so.
Right.
So you have to ask yourself this question. One of the things that they have a perfected and a great ability is to have you look at something, even on a video, and then tell you what you're seeing is not what you're seeing.
Right.
And see, this is crazy.
Mind control.
Huh?
Mind control.
Mind control, because we have allowed them to get away with this. Okay, so yeah, it's all of them there. And so now I want to ask this question. Do you think the most powerful man in religious man in the world in terms of symbolism, well, more than symbolism,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that someone had to take this picture with their consent? They
There
are
you go.
not going to allow the Pope and cardinals to be filmed kneeling before a black Madonna child, thank you, brother, without the Pope's consent, right or wrong,
Right.
knowing that the whole world is going to see this. So this man, and I have to give credit to him, he's not bound by this white supremacist BS. He is acknowledging what the true creator creatrix spirit is that he has given his heart to. Not this fake stuff that, you know, people in America talk about, what they fool our people with. Here's a man that's saying that the very mother of this person, of Yeshua, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that we know is black, that's what we kneeling down before. And it made me think about what Vladimir Putin did when he released,
Right.
you know, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And how all these people are in denial and blah, 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 blah. And then when you look at the Moors, who were in Spain for 700 years and taught them everything, yes, perfect. It taught them everything they know. So before the colonizers came to our shores, there was no comparable concept of white supremacy or racism.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you can see, all the gods in history were black. So what does that tell you? That means that people were used to this concept. But now, in order for you to enslave millions of people, then you have to create a concept that you're dealing with savages, slaves. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
People who were rejected by your God, who I always say, and I'll say it now, is an anti-black, bigoted, Luciferian God. Okay. So I don't care if you get mad. I don't care. Whatever. The truth is here. We're no longer going to suppress the truth. Okay, brother. Thank you, man. That's good. Because that in itself, that one picture in itself tells the story of this religious quagmire that our people are in. Why do you not have a picture of Yeshua on your wall instead of Caesar Borgia? You're willing to kill our own people over this. Okay. Why is it that the most powerful religious figure in the world is kneeling before the truth, but you yourself reject the truth? See, we have some serious issues in our own community, in our own culture, in our own civilization. Because now we can even say that we're a separate civilization. These are things I've been wanting to say for so long, brother. I can say that now. Because now you can't say, oh, well, he's lying and making stuff up. No, I'm not. Let's just go, like Dr. Kojo taught us, there's no need in getting in any conflict with them. This information is in their most prestigious institutions. You just need to know where to go to find it. And this is why, because now I'll be honest with you, I got a lot of respect always for Harvard University, because they do real scholarship. They put out real scholarship in terms of certain subjects, okay? But they are also bound by certain things that the Luciferians won't allow them to put out, okay? But they do deal with truth, as much truth as they can. I'll give them credit for that. But on a whole scale, we can now say that Black men and women come from a whole different phylum of beings, which you might call angels or whatever. I ain't gonna say demons, because we do. But we do have people with these characteristics in our community. Okay, we know this and acknowledge this. But for the most part, and this is why we always say Black men will rise. They're going to rise. And it's not because of what, it's because of men like you, other men who have the Curtis Young brother in Burkina Faso.
Yeah, Abraham
Am I
Shuri.
saying it correctly? Faso?
Yeah.
Burkina
Abraham
Faso.
Shuri.
Okay, so now the real Black gods are being lifted up. And there is no power here that can stop that. That's what they're afraid of. So I can see them as a counter move, putting a Black Pope there, because they know this power that they're dealing with is way beyond what they can handle.
That's right.
So, all right, my brother. Well, another good Monday with you.
Thank you, brother.
And, I gotta get some more information from you. We were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Before the show, man.
Oh, trust me. If I ever write a book,
oh man, you'd have a bestseller for sure.
If you know it,
hot off the press, it would probably could be enough made printed fast enough. And it's fascinating, man. But we do live in a world of warlocks and witches. That is something.
There's a lot of that.
Huh?
You know, I'll say this. People would always speak about the Ouija boards back in the day. And I knew a woman from South America in my neighborhood who was really into that stuff, right? And she was intelligent to articulate what it is that she did. And I'm hearing this information, but I didn't want to mess around with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I'll say this.
In Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah. I'll say this from experience, that we look at these things and rituals and we go to the spiritual stores and have all this stuff. But the biggest portal to allowing different types of spirits, good and bad, but we're not worried about the good, it's your daggone computer. Your computer and your smartphone that we pray to every single day and focus so much on every day. Be careful what you're letting into your mind, your thought, influencing you, and coloring your mind, how you see the world. And spiritual levels. Cut your stuff off. Don't sleep with your phone. Put your phone in another room unless you're waiting for a phone call, or don't let it touch you. Don't let it get up on you. Don't fall asleep letting things play automatically, getting in your mind. You know, when you're a kid and you're in the bed and you're falling asleep, the TV's on, and there's a KFC jingle, a McDonald's jingle. The next day you're playing it. This stuff goes unfiltered, and we're scrolling, and your algorithm is tailored to what you watch. If you're watching certain things on YouTube, they're going to keep throwing more of that stuff to keep you locked in, because now you'll see the world a certain way. One more thing. If you have YouTube, which obviously you do if you watch this is the platforms we're doing this on now too. Look at your homepage. Look at the things that are on your homepage, right? Look at it good. And log out. And go back to YouTube without logging in and look at the homepage of you logged out and see how different it is.
Right.
You'll be surprised of the things that you're locked into by telling social media what you want to watch, and it will keep you in that space.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah,
that's a good point. It will keep your mind in that space, because oh man, it's deep. It really
you
is.
gotta go, but I'm good.
Yeah, I gotta be somewhere in about 30 minutes.
Yes.
But thank you, Brother Lance. Keep up the great work, man. I love you going back to your old forum where you're having our people come in and talking and keeping the energy going. That's really a good way. You're one of the, I've seen a few people do that, but the way that you do it is allowing people, not arguing with people. Okay, you're not letting someone on,
right,
because you want to debate what they feel. That is not your, and I'm so glad you're not like that, brother. Kudos to you, man. I'm so glad that you have the strength of character to allow other people to say what they feel. Okay, nobody, just like, I'll say something real briefly before I leave. I saw, when I was watching the video you were doing with the, what was it called? The snow bunnies or whatever?
Right.
When this guy came in with this, you know how they have taught our people, oh, the Hamites and all this old garbage. Well, now you know that we existed before human beings. So now what you're going to say about some Hamites? No, we are not the children of no. And first of all, those names didn't exist back in antiquity, okay?
Right, right.
But our people are so engaged with this garbage, and you get somebody to come on and make some kind of asinine statement to slam our people, because that's all they can do. They don't have real intelligence. And then our people get all, and I'm glad you handle it the way you are. But brother, yeah, I better get out of here. Peace and blessings to you and the Queen.
Thank you.
We know you're a god now, and you got your goddess, and everything's good.
Thank you, brother.
All right, brother Lance.
Much love. We're counting down to Monday.
Yes, sir.
This is the longest part of the week. Much love, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, much love.
All right. Yes. And for everyone, wow, another one, another good one. Thank you, Brother Neil. And I'm going to prepare for something tonight. I did a lot of work today, and I feel my tank running low, but I feel I can represent it properly. It's going to be really good.
Oh, man, cool.
And get myself together. I never thought I'd be on the camera so snuffy. You know, I like to shave and keep myself clean, and I was doing so much work around. And so that's what it is. So anyway, it's all about ascension and making yourself better, making yourself more aware. There's so much going on in the world around us. I'm not even just saying with our fellow men and women in different countries and stuff on a spiritual level, that we need to take a break from using our physical eyes to think that we're going to see everything with that. That we need to sometimes get away from the noise and sit still. And all the stimulants, I don't mean just coffee or the caffeine and soda, but the stimulation that we have to deal with that bombards our brains, that clogs the filters, the spiritual filters and the mental filters, that we have so much thrown at us that the whole day will go by before we even resonate with true life and what's going on the inside. You know, I've been pushing hard while being relaxed and sleeping deep and all that stuff, but I've been pushing hard. And today I went out on one of the balconies, and I took the laptop to do some work out there. But with the sun being so bright, I could hardly see the screen. I said, well, I'm going to do the work, but I'm going to slow down. Took off my shoes and stretched out my toes and pushed away from the computer for a second and looked at all the beautiful trees and over the mountains and everything. I said, wait a second. I'm seeing this, and it was like I was coming out of a hole. I'm here all the time. But I had been focusing so much on so many different things that don't involve nature, even though I'm in nature, but just to submit to it and let it wash through me and allow nothing else to get into me. 20 minutes I did that. And it was like I was just waking up. We are so disconnected from the things that we need to be connected to. And it's choking us off from true living, true awareness. Our radar has been reduced because of it. Yes, there's a certain part that as long as we live in the engineered, man-made cities, we have to accept the fact that certain things will be reduced, but we have to make an effort and a point to keep connected to nature, AKA the God force, whatever you want to call it, or whatever religion, whatever, because as you move through life, and the chronological time goes by and you learn life's lessons, you will get to that point where you know that there is a supreme being, a supreme force, and it's in you. And the trick is that we're told to look everywhere else. Oh, if I miss going to church today, oh, I know I'm going to miss my blessing. But yet you can't talk to the God that's inside of you. It's there. And I say God as a point of reference. I don't want to argue with anybody. And when people come on to the show to say irrelevant, crazy, stupid things, I'm going to rope a dope them and spin them around and handle them like I did. And that's the new me. I'm not going to argue with you. That's not my purpose here. And if you have something to say that may not be what the masses say it is, I'm not going to challenge you. I'm not going to say you're wrong. But here you won't come here and cuss and damn and put people down. Oh, yeah, you get away with saying things in the chat room. That's cool. You can do that as long as you don't insult nobody. But it's for all of us to take responsibility to learn for ourselves, to take the knocks and bruises, the dings and the dents, until we finally get it right. You see, when you ride a bike and you're learning to ride a bike, not everyone takes the same amount of falls before they get it. Sometimes you just need to fall one time. That's all. You'll get it. You're like, I'm not going to scrape my knee up again anymore. Others, they keep falling and falling, and they're not even trying. And that's symbolic on how things are in life. So I can't stop that process by arguing with you if I happen to know a little more on that topic, or if I know less than someone else, because there are always going to be people that know more than you in different areas of life, and there's going to be people who know less than you. Accept it. Just make sure every day that you're a degree better, or even several degrees than you were before. And also understand that there's no need to push. I don't push anymore. Or if I have a deadline in the yard that I say by Friday, I have to get this done. Or I got to move some furniture up to the next level and I got to get this done by tomorrow. Yes, you have goals. But don't take yourself out of being connected to yourself because of the chaos that's going on around you. When you're in a fight with someone physically and they're trying to punch you, they can swing as hard as they want. It doesn't mean that you have to allow them to hit you. You see what I mean? Don't be pulled into somebody else's chaos. Keep the peace inside yourself and flow. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be easier. You're still going to catch some blows in this life, of course. There's going to be emergencies, tragedies, different things that help us to understand how precious life is, but you don't have to take the blows unnecessarily. And as long as you know what your game plan is, what your goals are, and it's signed off on by the God force, who cares about what the naysayers have to say? They're there to do a job. And that's to keep you on your toes. They're there to be evil. They're there to gossip. They're there to put you down. They're there to take you out of your rhythm. That's their job. Unfortunately, but fortunately, it helps to make you better. You can't sharpen the blade by waving it around in the air. You have to have a stone to rub it on. So while it may be annoying at times, and we do want to avoid these entities at times, when you do have to deal with them, understand they're only making you better at the end of the day. Just keep the emotions out of it and know what it is. They're only doing their job. Because once you ascend and get better, they'll be at the same place that they were when they tried to take you off of your game. And I'll leave it at that. I got to freshen up. I got to get some more food in my gut. I got to, do a few graphics here. I'm going to set something up. I have an article that I wrote that I'm going to put on LanceScurv X. Make sure to sign up to LanceScurv X. It's at the top of the chat room, LanceScurvX.com. You see it right there in front of you in yellow letters. Everything I do will be there. I throw a lot of stuff over there, and I'm going to be more and more active. But everything we do here, it's going to be there. But I thank you so much, and I love you all. Take care. And I'll see you maybe in 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it may be. I'm going to make sure they come back. There'll be no problem. All right? Much love. Peace.